Shemai, welcome to my Welsh introduction. As you can probably tell, I'm not born in Wales. I moved to Wales in 2015, but I've always had a fascination with the country and with the language. And it might be due in part to my family's origins in Karelia in Finland. I feel a certain kinship between the two places. I know J.R.R. Tolkien was also fascinated with these two places because he based his language for the trilogy on Finnish and Welsh, and he was actually an advanced scholar of Welsh. So that's an interesting connection between those two places. When I moved to Cymru, I wanted to learn some Cymraeg. I think when you come to Wales or when you move here, it's nice to be able to pronounce people's names and the places correctly, and even pick up a little bit more if you can. So we're going to familiarise ourselves with sounds and spelling, build a little bit of confidence with pronouncing Welsh names and also Welsh place names. Now, don't freak out, that is not common in Wales. But if you were to break that up, it is built up of lots of little component parts. And component parts are very important in Welsh, I find, and very interesting and fun to learn. The Welsh alphabet looks, on the face of it, kind of 50-50 similar and a bit scary. There's a few new sounds in there, but the thing you really need to watch out for are the ones that look the same but don't sound the same. They're false friends. They're going to trip you up. Another thing to note here is that where I've circled those two sounds, we have E dot and E bedol. So the E and the U are both E's. And the E bedol is also known as eaglepan, as in a cup. Cup E. I'll run through the kind of familiar letters here. So we've got A, B, D, E, G, H, E, L, N, N, O, P, R, S, T, Th. And now I'm going to take you through some of the more challenging or tricky ones. Now, actually, to be fair, I'll start with an easy one. This helps a little bit. C is always K. Unlike in English where it changes the sound, you can always rely on the C. It's always a K. But then we get to H. That can trip you up a little bit with the tongue twister kind of sound of it. And that's a bit like a loch that you'll find in Scotland. The next one is V, like the or they. This is a false friend. It's not a F. It's V, like very. And now here we have the F. That's the F. That's fabulous. Next is like angle. The double L is quite fun, I think, to pronounce. To me, it sounds like a slow puncture. What you want to do is put your tongue, press the tip of your tongue against the roof of your mouth, and then kind of let the air escape out of the sides. So it's a sound. Fa. Sometimes in loan words from Greek and other languages, but also it's kind of to do with the mutations that happen in Welsh. So a P, if it undergoes an aspirate mutation, will become a F. R. very vigorous and breathy. E. Ooh. Nice deep ooh sound like fool. And a Y, that is the shapeshifter. That one can be or E. And I'll explain a little bit more later. I'll go through these in kind of context of an English word here so you can have something to refer to. K as in cat, it's always hard. As in loch. Th as in they. V as in very. F as in fabulous. Ng as in angle. Like a fast puncture. F as in pharaoh. R is vigorous and breathy. E as in bin. E, bin, kind of a short E. Oo as in fool. And Y, which can be like or E. And I'll give you an example of how it generally follows a pattern. In the start or middle of a word, it's usually like Asbutty. And then you find at the end it becomes the E. Asbutty, that's a hospital. I'm going to run through some combo vowels. It's good to be aware of and try and get the hang of. I. It's all the same, it's high. It's like I as in high. Ow as in cow. Ooey, oi as in gooey, kind of. Or ew. As in moan, or ew as in ew. And the advice I've had on this is that O is in the middle of a word and ew is at the end, but we'll see. Stress in the words, the emphasis is pretty much standard on the second to last syllable. That's quite reliable. You might find some exceptions, but if you go with that, it gives it the character of the language, and it's really a nice kind of stress on the second to last syllable that you find. So some Welsh names, and because of kind of work links and I don't know prominence really in Welsh government, I've included some members of the Senedd. I'll start with Enfys though. Enfys means rainbow. We've got Enfys, Enfys. Hefin David. Now some people will have a first Welsh name and you want to pronounce that correctly, but they might pronounce their second name, it might be anglicised in a kind of anglicised way. So Hefin David. As a quite a Welsh one here, Alun Fred Jones. And David. That's a classic. David. Another familiar name, mostly because of cycling. Geraint. We have Geraint Davies. Elined. In the Senedd we have Elined Parrot. A very Welsh one here. Cynnog Davis. And Llyr Griffith. And this one I still find quite tricky, but I'll have a go. Angharad. I think you could do a lot worse. I'm going to go through some component parts in place names because I find these fascinating myself. I'll read them out for you first. Afon, coed, cwm, aber, mais, llyn, nant. So Avon is a river. Coed is like a wood. Cwm is a valley, so Cwm Bran. Aber is the mouth of a river, so you actually find Aber Avon, which literally means the mouth of the river. You also find Abertavy, the mouth of the River Tavy, or Abertawe, which is Swansea. And Maesteg is mais is field, and teg is fair, so Fairfield. Maesteg. Llyn is a lake, and Nant is a stream. And a lovely name that I've come across is Nantaglow. Nantaglow, glow I believe is coal, so that's a coal stream. Very famous one here, Caerdydd. That's Cardiff. Caerdydd. And Caer is a fort. Dydd I think is from Taff. So a fort on the river Taff. Llandudno. Llan is a parish, and Didno is St Tidno, so the parish of St Tidno. Llan Frechfa, the parish of the mottled place. Go figure. So the parish of Brechfa, which is a mottled place. T. Now I'm going to go through, this is a bit of a mixed bag like I said at the beginning. T is a house, and this might help you to identify what kind of place something is. So a pub tea is somewhere with a pobby. Pobby is to bake. A pub tea is a bakery. And a tea bach is a little house, so it's a toilet. Pub tea, a bakehouse. Tea bach, toilet. Un. That's one. Undeb is like a union. So Undeb European is European Union. Vod is a soft mutation of bod. Bod is to be. And that appears in quite a few words, usually at the end. So for example, cyfarfod. Cyfar is to meet, and then cyfarfod is to be meeting. So if you're meeting, you're in a meeting. That's it. Cyfarfod. Prif. That's like the prime, the top. Prif Weinidog is the First Minister's, Mark Drakeford. Prifysgol is the top school. That's like a university. Pen is kind of a physical top, like your head. It's a different kind of top. It's not really kind of got any kind of value system there. It's just the top. So pen wythnos, that's a weekend. Wythnos is week. Pen is the top, or the head of the week. That's the weekend. I'm going to just read through a few more little compound pieces for you before we have a little bit of fun at the end. We've got llan, vair, pwll, gwyn, gyll, ger, chwyrn. I'm not going to do the rest of it, but I'll just put that together and give you the rest here. Llan, vair, pwll, gwyn, gyll, go, ger, Gogeri, chwyrn drob, ul llantysilio gogogoch. I can't do it. You never need to do it. It's fine. But it's made up of lots of little compound pieces. And if you can figure out the compound pieces, a lot of Welsh will make more sense. And it's a fun way to do it. So I really recommend doing that. You can actually get books on place names, and that actually helps quite a lot with an insight into the language and getting into it. There's a little link in the bottom there to a website which has got the meaning and the origin of that place name. And finally, I'd like to share with you some language resources. The great thing about Welsh is there's so many resources out there that you can use, mostly free. There's never been a better time to learn Welsh. I mean, there's I can't speak for all of them. I've had a look at them, but I've tried to say something in Welsh. It's excellent. I made really good progress with that. It gets you really talking. Then Learn Welsh Cymru. I did a Mynediad 1. That's the first course. I'm looking to do a Mynediad 2 soon. It's like the entry level still, but a little bit more. And it's just fun, you know. It's not about where you know the end point. It's about the journey, and so many benefits from learning languages. For example, it reduces depression. It increases flexibility of mind. And you're going to make friends if you manage to get to a class. If you're in Wales already, you're going to make lots of friends when you're there and have a good time. So I'm just going to leave it here. We have a recap of Cymru and Cymraeg, Wales and Welsh, and also just to mention that Lloegr and Saesneg is England and English, in case you need to know. And that's it from